Well, hello there, crafters. Well, it's been a while since my last video, and due to some problems with the wood I've been getting and warping, I am going to tell you what I've been working on, but that project is, as of now, put on hold. This was a boat I was going to be making. As you can see, it's quite massive. Unfortunately, the way this wood is, it would be very warping, and let's just say it's not the best stuff to make a boat out of. But I decided, since I have my own game, I just bought a model kit for a boat and used that. But since then, my players have actually got into a few islands, and I had a plan to have them find an abandoned island. Well, mostly abandoned. I made this guy out of clay. Specifically, let's see if I can find this. Super Sculpty here. Just to be able to show off what I could do. Feel like it came out pretty nicely. Hand sculpted detail. Extremely tiny. Even has little ear holes there. Back sculpted. Toes are individually sculpted. Hand painted. I also made a Facebook post about this, but I made some scatter terrain, including a little pond here. Broken stone wall to see if I could. A rock. Another rock. Slightly different rock. How many rocks did I make? Gigantic boulder. So yeah, that will just help when I do my battle mat to add a bit more terrain. I also made this, a little tree stump, which, if you can see, I hand sculpted the base of the trunk myself. Took me a while to do this. Well, not really. Took me one night to sculpt all this. And then I also made, since I had made the log to match the actual trunk, so I could put it here like the tree was cut or fell or something. Again, fully detailed. Used a bit of clump foliage for the leaves, and static grassed it. Now, if you're wondering how I got this static grass, there's a thing called a flock box. I will be making a video on it eventually, but yeah, it's really useful. So, yeah, we all saw that. So, I was watching the ruins video from, I have to check this to make sure I'm right before I start saying stuff that I'll regret. Let's see if I can remember. It's a channel I was following. Sorry for this being a bit of a slower video, but I thought, do something different. It was from Black Magic Craft, the way they made their ruins. But I decided to take it a step further, and instead of using blue or green foam, I used foam board, which is a lighter, less expensive material you can get at your dollar store. Personally, I got a brand that had paper that could peel off real easily. And if you would wait for a second, I can find out what it was right here. I used Ready Board. But as you can see, it's a very thin board piece. And the paper on it, which I can actually show you, comes off as simply as that. Now, other boards I've used, they used a lot of glue, so, you know, it would end up messing up. Let me get rid of a bit of that exposure there. So, yeah, this is my next project. It's going to be a well, and I'm going to show you in a bit, or at least do, like, these little 1-hour craft videos. So, like, I'll just randomly build while you guys watch. Maybe give you some tips. So I'll throw these aside for now carefully, because I made everything and don't want to make it again. right here is another terrain piece I've been working on. This is the abandoned tower. Now, the whole idea for this campaign was they'll stumble upon this ruined city, and they'll build upon it and add things and make it their home base. So I was thinking, how cool would it be if eventually they start putting wood stairs up onto there, maybe build up a wall again. But yeah, fully detailed on the inside and outside. Same thing I did with these, has static grass around. So if I wanted to, I could probably make a treasure chest version of this, which I might do today, and I could just plop it in there to symbolize, what would it be? Like, let's say there was a landslide or something, or like the thing caved in. Just throw a couple of rocks in there on my scatter terrain, and suddenly it looks like there was a cave-in inside of here. Or like someone tossed a boulder or something into the castle, which caused it to collapse. So yeah, I have this small tower, which I could thank the DMs Craft again. I'm going to link their videos down in the description, by the way. So yeah, that was basically one of the things I was able to create recently. Then we have this. This was my first attempt at a ruin. It started off as a foam board box. Now, I didn't add texture to this for a reason of the material is way too fragile for me to do. What I did was got a 10-cent, basically, sponge brush and went in with the values, adding in a texture to them. You want to do this like a dry brush and very lightly. In the case of the bricks, I actually used a brush and just dry brushed. But for flat surfaces like here, you can see a bit where the sponge texture helped. Yeah, that really helped. So then after that, I would use PVA glue. And actually, I have a bottle right here. Elmer's. This stuff, good. Use it. Maybe a bit watered down. And what I did was put splotches of my flock, which would be right here. I'll get a bottle for you to see. Woodland Scenics Fine Turf. And basically, what I do is I buy the sample pack in this pack. I only have this because it was on sale for $3 at my hobby shop. And then I would go around and use that. Now for static grass, I've noticed, my scenic glue. That stuff's specially brewed. I've noticed this Woodland Scenic static grass stuff. It has a bit of a blue tinge to it, which I absolutely hate. It looks like a plastic film. And, I barely use this stuff. Instead of that, I went and I ordered, with my flock box, some WWS Scenery Meadow. I'll leave a link to that, too, in the description. And, yeah, that's what I use for my stack grass and everything. Including their signature flock box. Now you can notice it has a lot of grass stuck to it right now because of the polarity of it. Now, what you would do is take your material. Let's say stack grass is up on top of here. You would take your thing, preferably in a box, hold it upside like this, and just hold this above it. The current from this will charge the hair to go upwards. And because it's upwards, you get this nice effect of standing grass. If I can focus in on that, as you can see there. And whoop, yep, that's a problem. Broken a bit of it. That's one problem with this cheap foam stuff. But one solution is, I love using this Gorilla Glue. You can find these in any hobby shops or even a Home Depot. It costs like $1 per bottle. Comes with this little wipe. And what I do is like just slightly touch it. Now this stuff will eat foam, but not at a rate like spray paint does, I've found. So yeah. I would just glue that on. So if you want to know how I get like in between the cracks, what I start with is a layer of Mod Podge, which I can show you what I use. I just use this because I'm going to paint over it. Now the DM Craft uses a black paint mixed into it, so you could do that if you wanted to, but I find it easier just to go over with this. Then I will spray paint it with a bit of Krylon flat black, and then I'll go over it again to make sure it's done with my my Deco Art Crafters acrylic watered down with some what's it called? With some water, 50-50 mix, and you can kind of see where it seeped through in the back here. Oh, also, if you're going to make something like a structure, try to keep the paper on. It keeps it so much stronger. Yeah, you can especially see it with this. But, yeah. This is the intro to my, well, you know what? I'm going to call this a Let's Craft with Tom series. So, feel free to, ask in the comments below, either on Facebook or on YouTube, whatever you want to see me craft. For example, anything between a brazier, which is like a fire pit, stone walls, sculpting figures even. As you can see here, I could do that too. I might even flock... You know what? I'll give you an example in the next video. I'll flock that guy's base. So, see you then. Feel free to comment down below, and I'll see you next time with my first crafting.